Welcome to Saturday, 30th July 2023. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Live News Bulletin here from our News Hub studios here at Adisawe Kanda in Accra. We're also live on all our social media platforms at TV3 Ghana Plus on DSTV channel 279. My name is Noble Crosby, and let's take a look at the headlines of the bulletin this Sunday. Coming up, MP for Dwaboso responding to treatment after accident at Nyanahin in the Achimwampo district of the Ashanti region. Also, government urged to make necessary resources available to enable teachers identify and respond to students with learning difficulties. Also this afternoon, we have a special feature on the rise of DNA paternity testing in Ghana. In international news, Russian President Vladimir Putin says African leaders' peace plan could be a basis for peace in Moscow war on Ukraine. We have details of these stories and a lot more coming to you in the next 60 minutes if you stay with us. We're starting this afternoon on this note. An MP for Dwaboso Kwabena Mintah Kando is responding to treatment after a ghastly accident at Nyanahin in the Achimwampo district of the Ashanti region. William Evans Inkum has been following the development.
Dwaboso lawmaker is still receiving treatment here at the Accident and Emergency Center at the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital. He's not out of wounds yet, but he's responding to simple commands. For the driver, he has complained that he has some chest problems when I engage him, and also some neck issues. Of course, he's also receiving treatment. The bodyguard, I understand, he's also recovering very fast. For the other passengers who were in the Sprinter bus, I am told some of them are in critical condition, and those in critical condition, I also understand that they are trekking on a very thin line for survival. Kwabena Mintah Kando tells me he was on his way to joining a flight to Accra, and a connected one from Accra to Tamale, where he was supposed to join his colleague lawmaker Suini for a burial service in Tamale. That is the lawmaker's hometown. Now, there hasn't been any confirmation of death yet. We will continue to bring you more updates from the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital. William Evans Inkum, TV3 News, Konfanochi Teaching Hospital, Kumasi.
Now back in the capital, the government is to begin a new housing project, the revised National Housing Program, which will see to the construction of 8,000 new housing units. According to the Works and Housing Minister Francis Asenso-Boakye, the National Housing Program is a private-public partnership. We'll bring you that story later, but let's move on to some other subjects and engage with Vincent Opol Asamoah, who is the ranking member on the Works and Housing Committee of Parliament, for some reactions to this development, as government is expected to, in the coming months, construct some new 8,000 housing units. Vincent, thank you so much for joining us on the program. Let's start with this. I'm sure when you heard of the news of government intention to build new housing projects, you were excited about it?
Yes, I believe that judging from the housing deficit that we have as a country, which is around 20,000 housing units, definitely once government is taking action on this, we should all be very happy because you walk around and you see a lot of people sleeping on the street, and the demand, especially the price of rental accommodation, is almost always going up. So if there's an initiative like this, as a responsible minority, we have to support the minister to ensure that at least if we cannot completely eliminate what is ahead of us, at least we will be able to reduce it to the barest minimum. So we're all happy about the initiative.
Vincent, I'd like for you to hold on for me and let's take a listen to what the various stakeholders said in this particular story as the government is beginning a new housing project, the revised National Housing Program, which will see to the construction of 8,000 new housing units. Ghana's housing deficit is estimated at 2 million. The New Patriotic Party government under former President Kufuor in 2006 initiated the Government of Ghana Affordable Housing Program with the objective of providing accommodation for low to middle income workers of the country, creating jobs and improving incomes. The project commenced in 6 locations: Boteman in Accra, Pong in Tema, Asokore Mampong, Kumasi, Koforidua, Tamale and Wa. But the project was stalled upon the assumption of power by the National Democratic Congress. The NDC under former President John Dramani Mahama also began Saglame housing, consisting of the first 1,500 flats, but it was also abandoned when the NPP took over power. Minister for Works and Housing Francis Osanso-Boakye said the revised affordable housing program will see the completion of 8,000 housing units at Pokuase in the Ga West municipality. The minister, however, fell short of disclosing the total cost of the project.
This program is quite different from the previous ones because we've taken the trouble to study all the setbacks that were associated with previous affordable housing programs, and we made sure that all the challenges have been addressed. This one is a public-private partnership where government is supporting the program with free unencumbered land and infrastructure. The idea is that this is a government subsidy and it will reduce the construction costs of housing.
Addressing the second annual Green Building Conference in Accra, the director of the Green Building Conference, Professor Emmanuel Bamford-J, called for a policy drive to include eco-friendly materials in all new public structures.
Trying to encourage those who are burdened to use more of these local materials, because the concrete block and the cement, they emit more of CO2. And because of that, the climate change is now affecting us.
The conference is under the theme Mobilizing Support of the STI for SHS Roadmap and Advancing an African Green Building and Development Agenda. Well, I still have on the phone lines with me Vincent Opow-Asamoah, who is the ranking member of the Works and Housing Committee of Parliament. Vincent, so how can we end this cycle of successive governments abandoning projects? Because a similar thing happened when the NDC took over power, and then in 2016, all successive governments seem to be following a similar line.
My brother, let me collect this reportage, especially on the project that preceded His Excellency John Atta Mills.
Right.
I might be frank with you. I was made a deputy minister, and I remember very well that the Boteman and other sites, Asokore Mampong, other sites that were, let me say, a legacy project from Kufuor's administration. I remember government at that time had an agreement with the SNIT to complete those projects. So if you go to the sites at the moment, most of the projects are completed. So it is not very correct that the project was abandoned. At least I'm aware 2013, 2014, I remember this contract took off and SNIT was able to mobilize some resources to complete most of this project. It's unfortunate what is happening to Saglame project, because the last time I led a team to that place, I think there were a lot of media houses. You could see the level of deterioration, materials on site that have been fast deteriorating. It's unfortunate this government, to them, they have issues with it. So once you have issue with it, then we don't have any plan to salvage the situation. That is very, very unfortunate. And I remember very well, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has made it so clear that once he assumed duty in 2025, all ongoing projects will be completed first before they even embark on new projects. For that one, NDC gives that assurance. That said, I believe that notwithstanding, the government would like to embark on new projects and they wouldn't want to complete old ones. That is their decision. But as a responsible minority, we need to support the government to fulfill the promise that he has made to Ghanaians with this particular PPP project that they are embarking on. I must be frank with you, we wouldn't want a situation that bedeviled previous projects. So we will be very critical on the source of funding. He's talking about a private developer bringing in a capital of $58 million to this project, and he's talking about 1,600 housing units. Government giving about 304 acres of land, which is about 1,600 plots of land for this project. Beside everything, government is also going to consult this also had infrastructure, roads, electricity, and water. Government is going to provide all these things. So as a minority, what we are going to demand from the government is to ensure that Ministry of Roads, Ministry of Energy, and Ministry of Water and Sanitation, budgetary allocations are made in the media review. If it is not in the previous budget, it is made in this media review to take care of this infrastructure, because I know Saglame and other places, government reneges on our responsibility to provide our share of the whole bargain. We did not do that. So we didn't want a similar situation to happen to and we are also going to demand that valuation reports of the land, because we are talking about affordable. How affordable would these structures be as against private developers, what they provide in Ghana? Would that be affordable? Because if you look at the land, 304 acres alone, if you put the current value on it, that alone is quite substantial. So we'd like to know government's stake in the PPP. And if you look at the report and other things, we requested it from the minister. He will not be able to tell you the total cost of the project. But I will request for that. If you are approved, we'll request that Speaker give directive that the total cost of the project should be available to us subsequently, because already they are prepared to even cut the sort by Tuesday. But we request that all valuation reports of the land and other things, so that we'll be able to ascertain government stake in that project.
Vincent Opoku Asamoah is the ranking member of the Works and Housing Committee and MP for Doma West. Thank you so much for engaging with us. We're still staying on the issue concerning housing, because the chairman of the Engineering Council of Ghana has blamed recent building collapses and a lack of proper town planning on the choice of people appointed to lead the various metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies. Dr. Kwame Boakye advocated appointing people with engineering qualifications as metropolitan, municipal and district chief executives.
This year has witnessed 2 people being killed and 11 others sustaining injuries after 4 buildings comprising 2 residential apartments, a hostel and a church building collapsed across the country. Engineers have blamed the incidents on poor use of construction materials, a lack of soil testing, unqualified contractors, and local assemblies shading their responsibilities to oversee development in their jurisdiction.
I strongly believe that this nation is going nowhere without engineering, because no country, I don't know of any country that developed without engineering. And not just engineering, indigenous engineering is very important. And in fact, in some of the recently developed nations, engineering is not just what you see as a traditional engineering, but even planning and moving the country forward.
He stressed the need for metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies to enforce various bylaws on construction. He advocated for appointing people with engineering background as chief executives.
What I am pushing for within the engineering community is for us to make sure that we have engineering practitioners at every level of governance. In the district assemblies, we must have engineering practitioners at the district assembly level, the municipal assembly, parliament, within the cabinet, and so on.
The president of the Institute of Engineering and Technology of Ghana, Henry Kojo Boateng, shared similar sentiments at the induction ceremony of some engineers.
We've had a number of occasions that engineers took certain positions other than even engineering, and we saw their performance. Because of their wide knowledge of their training by solving problems, wherever you put them, they perform. So it's a good suggestion.
Away from that, in recent years, a new trend has emerged, revealing a profound shift in societal dynamics. DNA paternity testing, once a rarity, has surged in popularity. In this report, Emmanuel Samani embarks on a compelling exploration into the rise of DNA paternity testing in Ghana.
DNA paternity testing, a powerful tool that can resolve doubts about biological relationships, is becoming a critical aspect of Ghanaian society. In recent times, social media has been hit with viral stories of men discovering their children aren't biologically theirs after DNA testing.
I paid 2,000 for the 4 of us. The doctor asked me, "How long have you been with your wife?" Right then I said, "Oh, is it 21 good years?" He went straight. He said, "The kids are not yours." I was shaking.
While in some cases the men have remained mute and not confronted their spouses, some cases have ended up in violence being perpetrated on their wives and children. According to experts, the demand for paternity tests has increased steadily over the past decade. One key factor contributing to this rise is the evolution of societal norms and the changing dynamics of relationships, as well as the availability of such tests.
I have a saying that emotions have no intellect. It's easier said than done. How you and I will put it here is that forgive, forget, don't worry. It's okay, you just have to be mature. Trust me, when you are faced with a situation like that, you know whether you are mature or not. And we need to be very mindful. Seek advice, seek counseling.
Reverend Dr. Lawrence Sette has been counseling partners for over 4 decades. He says nothing is more dangerous than raising a child you're uncertain of.
We know what paternity check is. Simply means that you don't trust that the baby is your baby. The child is your child. And nothing will be more dangerous than living with a child and not sure whether it's yours or not. The feeling is not good. And so as much as this is a very sensitive issue, that can bring closure to marriages, can bring uncertainty, it's also a wise thing to check and just make sure your mind is at rest.
The emotional toll that uncertainty can take on individuals and families is undeniable. But it is not just changing attitudes that have fueled the increase in demand.
You have to be sure of your children before you take up the cost or anything.
For her to say the child is not minded, that one I will not say anything. But I mean, we have people, they take kids from orphanage and take care of them. So that one, I see nothing wrong with that.
The child is not for you. You will see the art, your face and everything. You will see the child is not for you. So that you will do the DNA test.
I have come to one of the country's leading DNA testing laboratories to find out more about DNA testing. Here, I met with Julius, the coordinator of DNA test at SynLab.
I can tell you that there's been a rise. When we did the analysis over the last 6 years, we realized that there's been a very significant rise in numbers of people that actually come in for the testing.
It tells me about the instances that require DNA tests.
Suspicion of infidelity, that also accounts for a good number, of these. And then one big factor has to do with settlement of disputes in the courts. In fact, most of the courts in Ghana refer their paternity DNA cases to SynLab.
For DNA testing, 2 types of samples can be used, either blood or a buccal swab. But here at SynLab, blood is mostly used.
The blood sample collection every tube is labeled in the presence of everyone. When the samples are collected, they are kept within the visual reach of everyone. Now, once all samples are taken, the samples are put in a tamper-proof bag and sealed. Now, when that has been done, then the samples are sent to the genetics lab for analysis.
As more Ghanaians recognize the benefits of DNA paternity testing, clinics and laboratories are struggling to keep up with the demand.
We were getting more cases from within Greater Accra, Greater Kumasi. But over the years, you're getting cases from all over. Bono Ahafo, Eastern, Northern, Northeast, and all of them are interested in getting a certain closure to the cases, which is why they refer more to SynLab.
For Dr. Lawrence Sete, the outcome of test results could have dire consequences on the family dynamics. As such, it must be done so cautiously.
There are a lot of repercussions when you go through that paternity test and a child eventually realizes that they are yours. How would the children feel like? There's effect it has on the marriage, there's effect it has on the children, and that's why we have to be very mindful.
DNA paternity testing is on the rise in Ghana, showing a society that is awakening by using the power of science to answer questions that were once left unspoken. Now, the million-dollar question is, would you undertake a test? Would you rather go to sleep knowing that you are indeed the father of your child, or live with the uncertainty? Emmanuel Samani, TV3 News, Accra. Now, this has become a lucrative venture for most children whose livelihoods depend on the picking of plastic materials. In this report, my colleague Christopher Marco visited the Gbalai landfill site in Tamale, where children are abandoning the classroom in search of plastic waste.
This has become a daily routine for hundreds of children living within the Gbalai and Taha communities. Survival of the fittest works here. The children run after these trucks in search of plastic materials and other valuables. Their livelihoods and those of their parents are found here on the dirty, dangerous, and smelly landfill site.
We come here because we don't have food to eat at home. Our parents can't afford to buy books and other educational materials for us. So this is where we come to make some money to buy the books. If there's any support for us, we will gladly welcome it.
Children as young as 6 years old spend each day rummaging through the trash, hoping to find plastic materials and other valuables. With their dirty hands, they eat and drink leftover food and drinks found on the landfill site. They make between 5 and 35 cedis a day, depending on how many plastic bottles one is able to get.
We get pricked by bottles and needles, but we must also survive, so we bear the pain.
Some parents do business with their children here.
We come here with the children because we don't have any option. This is what we can do to feed the family.
Education and health are greatly impacted.
We are seeing children younger than 5, even I understand, eating from the landfill, sleeping there. They are not in any protective clothing. So the municipal assemblies, the district assemblies, the Department of Social Welfare, they should stand on their feet. They should go to the landfill site and see things for themselves. What exactly is the problem? And even when we come to, the guidance of the landfill, they have a role to play in ensuring the functionality of the landfill. So what are they doing? How do these children even get access into the landfill? Considering all these chemicals, these poisonous substances, the sharp objects that they may be pricked with, and it also has a lot of complications. And so they should do the needful. It is their duty to ensure that children are safe within their jurisdiction.
More than 500 metric tons of waste are generated daily in the Greater Tamale metropolis. Out of this, a little over 300 tons are collected for safe disposal. Section 8 of the Children's Act 1998, Act 560, provides for the right to education and the well-being of children. It states that no person shall deprive a child of access to education, immunization and adequate diet, clothing, shelter, medical attention, or any other thing required for his development. Section 16 of the same Act enjoins various assemblies to protect children. The government of Ghana introduced the free compulsory universal basic education policy in 1995 to provide the opportunity for every school-age child in Ghana to receive quality basic education. However, 28 years down the line, data from the Ghana Statistical Service shows that over 1.2 million children are still not in school due to several social constraints. The future of hundreds of children living within the Gbalai and Taha communities will continue to hang in the balance if stakeholders and duty bearers fail to act now.
Christopher Marco, TV3 News, Tamale.
Now, clinical developmental learning specialist Dr. Anumpa Sethi has called on government to make the necessary resources available to enable teachers identify and take care of students with learning difficulties. She was speaking at a special education and inclusion workshop on dyscalculia and dyslexia learning and the teaching strategies to equip educators to identify and teach students with learning disorders.
And dyscalculia are learning disorders which leads to difficulty with reading, writing, spelling and understanding maths and number-related information. According to Dyslexia Ghana, 4% of Ghanaians have severe forms of dyslexia, while 1 out of 5 Ghanaian children, representing 20%, is likely to suffer from dyslexia. The 3-day workshop organized by Africa Dyslexia Organization in collaboration with Mission Pediatrics is to equip teachers on dyscalculia and dyslexia teaching strategies.
By the end of these 3 days, teachers will not, just come out as professionals because it's the starting point, but at least they will have something that they can start making gradual change in the classroom with.
Clinical developmental learning specialist Dr. Anupma Sethi wants policymakers to adopt practical approaches to identifying and managing the disorder in the country.
The support for teacher training and creating the resources for teachers from the Department of Education, the Ghana Department of Education, will be a great help to the teaching community and people like Rosalind, who is working for ADO.
Deputy Minister for Education John Intim Fodro acknowledged the challenges with inclusion in the country.
Inclusive education must not be the reserve or the preserve of just a few teachers who are taking upon themselves that specialization, to train people with special needs. But fundamentally, it must have implications for our curriculum at the teacher training and colleges of education and education universities. Every teacher coming out to teach must be an inclusive teacher.
The XDG Go 4 aims to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. This goal includes making provisions for special education and attention given to children with learning difficulties.
You're watching Media Live on TV3. My name is Noble Crosby and we're going for a break. We're back with more stories. Please stay with us.
Knows Acrobato. And if you know Acrobato, it means you know M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic is my pillar. Let's hear what others are saying about endpoint homeopathic clinic. Who will be careful endpoint one?
Chesena me ankasa me period no say problems wom ntina ma wo ho idea ma me papa chesena nya asem ketewa na me coin point no mo hwe me mogam no mo hwe bibia na so mo medro a me fire no ene ma won kra mienu foforo kwa na mkwan mu a eba
and everything yourself
me ma me no adwodwo eda ho a wontumi nante ene ne ko end point o mama no nura ene ne ho idea watimi asori anante.
That's end point for you. Of Roberto. Hello. Hey, Oshisho what che? Okay. A free bra who the end point what dance. I'm a choir no. Me Joseph Sama na nkoye e person na my emre nyina na magina sabema na me be fear for there e ho na nyina jaresa. You heard everything. I have secret. End point is my secret. End point homeopathic clinic. I'm free.
From the northern highlands to the southern coast, each region has handpicked its finest representative to showcase the unique essence and traditions that make Ghana so extraordinary. Who made it to the top 16?
When the African is given a chance, he can show to the world that he's somebody.
Join us this Sunday from the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park as we unveil the 16 selected regional representatives who embody the spirit and charm of their respective regions. It's Ghana's most beautiful unveiling Sunday, live on TV3 at 8 p.m.
GMB 2023 is sponsored by Gino Tomato Mix, GTP, Techno Common 20 Series, AT, Pepsodent Charcoal and Lemon Infused Formula and Pepsodent Natural Herbal Formula, Geisha Moringa and Geisha Black Soup, Key Soup, Bell Pack Tissues, Sankofa Natural Spices, Vitamilk, Deluxy Acrylic Paint, Nescofa Blood Tonic, Heaven Black Mosquito Spray and Coil, Enapa Foods, Freedom from Casapreco, Frutelli Calipo, Duffy's Health and Beauty, Obuasi Bitters, Nubna Womwankasa, Dragnet, Top Choco, Global Wings Travel and Tour.
We are back again to come for what belongs to us. Akraka! No. Akraka!
No. And as we have come here, the cup is going back home. Ahisco!
I'm bringing something new. We are coming to show you how it's done in the kitchen. This year,
we are the champions and we are willing and ready to defend our championship.
Caleb! Yes, Antua! Yes, Antua! Don't miss Kitchen Wars right here on TV3 Sunday 5 p.m. Kitchen Wars! Kitchen Wars!
Kitchen Wars Season 2 shows Sundays at 5 p.m. on TV3. Don't miss it.
Sponsored by Gino Tomato Mix.
And Napa Foods. Say Napa. Enye Ono Soko.
PGL.
Once again, we come to you, this time with 6 athletes who are all vying for a place in the semi-final of 2023 Ghana Strongest, right here on TV3. This Sunday at 4 p.m., make a date with us as we bring you 4 different challenges. You'll see the squat, the tower flip, the giant power stairs, and the Ghana stone. These 6 athletes will be having and trying their hands at these different challenges as we find out which 5 will make it into the semi-final. Don't miss it. Right here on TV3, Ghana's Strongest, the power to do.
Catch Ghana's Strongest this Sunday at 4 p.m. only on TV3. Ghana's Strongest is powered by Gasem, the nation builder. Brought to you by Mixi Choco, Channel Hot,
Deluxy Acrylic Paint,
Dragnet.
1, 2, and yeah. 6, 8 minus 3, 6, 1, 7, 6, 1 minus 2, 9. That's it? 39 is correct from Adipa. 8 minus 3, 7, 5 minus 9, 8, 5, 5 minus 3 minus 2. That's it?
UC Mars show Sundays at 2:30 p.m. on TV3.
How many
many times would you hear someone breaking the record or setting a record for the longest swim ever recorded on the Volta River? You've been swimming?
Yes, I did about 40 days worth of swimming down the Volta River from the northern region of Ghana down to Ada.
What?
Mm-hmm. You have
40
to.
days or 14?
40.
How and why? Don't give me political answer. Did you get a broken heart?
Yes, I did.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I did. That is what made me write Survivor.
You dared to break your heart.
The person is dead and gone.
But you also practice as a nurse. Are you still a nurse?
I am still a nurse because I'm nursing people through my music. You have
Hello.
Yes.
Shut up.
So -1,
Hey,
please.
no. Have you missed Wendy Shea? Well, I have, and I want to know what she's been up to. Don't forget, this Sunday, 3 p.m. right here on TV3. It's The Day Show.
The Day Show, Sundays at 3 p.m. on TV3.
Welcome back to the broadcast. Now, the calls for a lifestyle audit to be conducted on all public office holders have heightened even as the Special Prosecutor's Office continues its probe of former Sanitation Minister Cecilia Dapaah. In this report, it looks at the matters that have arisen from the issue so far. The resignation of Cecilia Dapaah as Sanitation and Water Resources Minister and subsequent acceptance by the President and the OSP investigating claims of corruption and corruption-related activities have done little to stem the rising tide of anger by the general populace over the circumstances leading to a resignation. Eyebrows have been raised at the decision of President Akufo-Addo to praise the immediate past Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources. His comments: "I am confident, like you, that at the end of the day, your integrity while in office will be fully established," has been interpreted by some as the President clearing the Minister of any wrongdoing even before investigations are concluded.
What the President said went on to affirm or reaffirm the tag which has been placed on him, that he seemed to be seen to clear his appointees whenever issues come up.
The Member of Parliament for South Roxanne Nelson Dafiamekpo is equally concerned.
And the tone of the letter was so informal. My dear Mr. President, my dear Cecilia. It's so informal. And at that level, you couldn't be writing in those terms. It is of the opinion that in due course, the subject's integrity will be established. What exactly is this saying? It's such a powerful statement to make. And that is why, a lot of people are scandalized by the comment, that it was a totally needless comment.
He adds that bearing in mind the gravity of the situation, investigations currently ongoing by the OSP will not suffice. He wants more, even from the presidency.
The president ought to have launched his own form of inquiry, administratively, from his office. You are my appointee. And by the nature of the work you do, you are not the exchequer of the nation. Even if you are the exchequer of the nation, you ought not to have this kind of money at home.
Calls to extend investigations and searches into the homes of government appointees following the Cecilia Dapaah cash stacking case have been coming thick and fast.
We need to audit individuals' account, and I wouldn't mind if every minister, every MP's house is searched.
It should be possible for a swoop into the homes of these appointees. Unannounced. And let us go see what is there. We will see things.
The OSP, as part of investigations, has commenced a lifestyle audit of Cecilia Dapaah. Member of Parliament for Asante Akim North, Andy Apiakubi, while cautioning the OSP to see the investigation to an end, agrees that it be extended to other government officials.
The call for people's lifestyles to be investigated, I fully support it. Fully support it. Let that not be a false start. When you build up hopes, expectation is high, then all of a sudden it falls down. crumbles without reason. That is what I call false start. If you can't finish something, you don't start it.
The resignation of the immediate past minister has been praised by some, including political science professor Ransford Jampil. Professor Jampil wants other governor appointees, particularly Finance Minister Kenneth Atta, who was pressured to resign after supervising the country's economic downturn, to take a cue.
Those who would always hold on to power, maybe simply because they think that they are indispensable, when even your own majority caucus are coming together to ask you to resign. You are our servants. Is it by force to serve?
A spokesperson for the group of NPP MPs who demanded the sack of Finance Minister Kenneth Atta says they still stand by their demand despite the loud silence from the president.
A reminder has been sent variously. Oh, we don't feel deceived because he has not made any pronouncement to our evening reminders. We have not filed any notice of withdrawal of our request. So we are where we are.
That did not sit well with Roxanne Nelson Dafiamekbo.
And I'm scandalized by it. You held a press conference and told the whole world that this was your position. If the president has failed to do his part within the past 8 months, that must be a matter that should worry you.
The delay, in Professor Jampil's opinion, means the citizenry has been let down.
We don't commend you today only for you to let us down tomorrow. I think that you have disappointed us.
To some other subjects this afternoon, and Vice-Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Professor Nana Aba Piamfo, says in view of the economic challenges in Ghana, measures must be put in place to encourage entrepreneurship to develop homegrown solutions to problems. She made the call at the National Demo Day of the Innovation of African Universities.
The National Demo Day is part of the Innovation for African Universities Connecting Ghana project. The project is spearheaded by the Office of Research, Innovation and Development at the University of Ghana. It is a student enterprise pitch competition that seeks to promote entrepreneurial skills among Ghanaian graduates. The Vice-Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Professor Nana Aba Piamfo, called for stakeholder collaboration to churn out more entrepreneurs.
We struggle as a nation to keep the cedi in check against the major trading currencies. Homegrown measures such as these entrepreneurial ideas could be developed to cut down on our import dependency. Also, once these ideas originate locally, they are more likely tailored to suit our peculiar needs. I ask you to collectively push the boundaries of innovation to create a better future for Ghana and Africa.
The country director of the British Council, which is a partner of the event, says the next decade is crucial for Ghana.
No country has developed without its entrepreneurs, and in every country you go to where you look at them as developed countries, these are countries that have put a lot into growing their own entrepreneurs. And that's why today is such a significant day for all of us.
15 teams from 3 universities, namely the University of Cape Coast, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, and the University of Ghana, participated in the competition. Students from Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology emerged as winners in the competition.
Now, a former constituency chairman of the governing New Patriotic Party in Asawase and election chairman Isaac Brinye has said the only reason Asawase has become a safe seat for the opposition, the National Democratic Congress, since its creation is because of disunity among NPP members in the constituency. He indicated that the 2024 parliamentary elections in the constituency is a must-win for the party, hence the need for all to be united regardless of who wins the primaries. Isaac Brinye made this remark when a former presidential staffer, Manaf Ibrahim, filed his nomination.
Hundreds of MPP members and sympathizers escorted Manaf to submit his forms at the party office. Addressing his supporters after submitting the forms to confirm his readiness to contest in the primaries, Manaf indicated the imposition of a parliamentary candidate for the party in Asawase in 2020 cost them hugely. He entreated delegates to vote for someone who can serve better. Manaf explained why he had not given up after being denied to contest in the 2020 primaries.
Once you have an ambition, you don't relent on it. You continue to fight until you get there. And so it's an ambition. And once I am convinced that this is the path I have chosen to follow, I will continue to follow it until I get there.
Receiving the forms, the former Asawasi MPP chairman, Isaac Brenya, advised party members and supporters to be united towards victory. MPP has suffered in the Asawasi constituency. This is all because of the disunity among party members. We can't allow said divisions to continue if we want to win the seat. This is the time we must be united and support whoever wins the primaries. This is a must-win elections for us. The Asawasi seat has been a safe one for the opposition NDC since the creation of the constituency in 2004.
We have more stories for you on Midday Live, but right after the break, please stay with us.
When it comes to the world of sports, what does complete mean to you?
When my team scores at the end of a 30-plus passing sequence, just like Pep Guardiola style.
When someone beats the buzzer with a shot from the logo, like Steph Curry.
Dominating opponents and punching my waist to a knockout, like Africa's greatest boxer, Azuma Nelson.
Running so fast that I can afford to celebrate midway through a 100-meter race and smash the world record like Usain Bolt.
Hold up. What makes all of these sports complete is the screen. This is where you get access to all the extensive highlights, analysis, and insights.
So do join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. live on QFM 92.7 as we serve you the best sports buffet and most satisfying in the sports world. The three sports team will come together to review, preview, and analyze the latest in the sports world here on Sports Ultras.
From the northern highlands to the southern coast, each region has handpicked its finest representative to showcase the unique essence and traditions that make Ghana so extraordinary. Who made it to the top 16?
When the African is given a chance, he can show to the world that he's somebody.
Join us this Sunday from the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park as we unveil the 16 selected regional representatives who embody the spirit and charm of their respective regions. It's Ghana's most beautiful unveiling Sunday, live on TV3 at 8 p.m.
GMB 2023 is sponsored by Gino Tomato Mix, GTP, Techno Common 20 Series, AT, Pepsodent Charcoal and Lemon-Infused Formula and Pepsodent Natural Herbal Formula, Geisha Moringa and Geisha Black Soup, Key Soup, Bell Pack Tissues, Sankofa Natural Spices, Vitamilk, Deluxe Acrylic Paint, Nescofa Blood Tonic, Heaven Black Mosquito Spray and Coil, Enapa Foods, Freedom from Casapreco, Frutelli Calipo, Duffy's Health and Beauty, Obuasi Bitters, Nubunawo Mwankasa, Dragnet, Top Choco, Global Wings Travel and Tour.
How many times would you hear someone breaking the record or setting a record for the longest swim ever recorded on the Volta River? You've been swimming?
Yes, I did about 40 days worth of swimming down the Volta River from the northern region of Ghana down to Ada.
What?
You have
40 days or 14?
40.
How and why? Don't give me political answer. Did you get a broken heart?
Yes, I did.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I did. That is what made me write Survivor.
You dared to break your heart.
The person is dead and gone.
But you also practice as a nurse. Are you still a nurse?
I am still a nurse because I'm nursing people through my music. You have
Hello.
Yes.
Chef appreciation.
So -1, please.
Hey, no. Have you missed Wendy Shea? Well, I have, and I want to know what she's been up to. Don't forget, this Sunday, 3 p.m. right here on TV3. It's The Day Show.
The Day Show, Sundays at 3 p.m. on TV3.
The fishing industry in Ghana is of prime importance to the economy and the well-being of the people. Sadly, this critical industry faces a hidden threat that threatens its survival. Join us as we shine our spotlight on the canker of illegal fishing, a practice that has devastated our marine resources, depleting our fish stock, leaving our fishermen with empty nets, fish processors struggling to survive, and our communities in dire straits. We delve into safe fish handling and processing, certification and licensing schemes. We focus